A lot of times you can't change your thinking because you don't actually know the story. You don't actually know what's going through your head. And that's what the struggle is. The struggle is you're telling yourself a story. You're telling yourself a lie about the narcissist. Maybe that he cared. Maybe that you're not good enough without the narcissist. Maybe that, you're not good enough and that's why the narcissist left. Like, whatever it is, there's a story. And everybody's story is completely different. But underneath the surface, there's a story that's going through your head that's telling you that you need to stay with them, or that you need to go back, or that you weren't good enough, or whatever it might be. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform. I've got longer videos on YouTube, and we're doing a meet and greet coming up here in North Carolina, July 23rd, in the Durham area. So, yeah. Did you ever react to the narcissist and all of a sudden they got calm? Did you ever go through that process where the reaction, the frustration, all of a sudden just spilled out because of everything they put you through and they just got super calm? A lot of times a narcissist is going to do that because in that moment they start to smirk, they start to look at you and they're like, I just created that. I just controlled that response. I just controlled that reaction. And for the narcissist, that's a giant power move. That's a giant power play of saying, hey, you, I own. Because in a narcissist's mind, they think they're entitled to you. They think they have the ego for that, and they think they're the best in the world. So when they get to the point that they're actually manipulating and gaslighting you, and when they make you respond, they're like, I just manufactured that response. I just manufactured that emotion. That's them starting to put you into that fog. The fear, the obligation, the guilt that's swirling around you, and you don't know which way to turn. You don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down, and they're the only ones in their mind that can lead you out of it. So in a narcissist world, the only time the narcissist actually cries, like 99.999% of the time, the only time that they actually cry is to manipulate. So anytime that someone else is crying, like immediately the first thought is like, nope, they're trying to manipulate me. Like, I see it because I already know that. The reason why I know that, because I'm a narcissist. And if you haven't followed me by now, like, I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. And throughout all of my life, I pretty much never really cried at all. It was very, very, very few and far between. So much so that it was kind of like a joke around the household of like, oh, like, he's starting to cry, like, let's write it down the calendar, because it never happened. Like, even my wife, like, never really saw me cry hardly at all, like, throughout our entire relationship. A lot of times a narcissist is going to use crying as a form of manipulation, as a way to invoke empathy and sympathy from you so they can continue doing what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And check out my YouTube for some longer videos about that. This is the hard thing for a lot of narcissists, is they don't have original content. A lot of narcissists don't come to the table saying, I have these thoughts, feelings, opinions about movies, music, like all different types of things, because they don't really have an idea of what really gives them pleasure, of what really gives them joy, because typically there's not anything that gives them pleasure or gives them joy, because they're constantly searching for that next high, the next person they're going to control, the next person that they think, maybe this is the person that will make me feel a little bit better, that will make me feel a little bit more human. Maybe if I get married, the cycle will stop. Maybe if I get with the next person, it'll be better. Maybe if I'm with the next person, the grass is greener on the other side, right? And so they're always looking to the next thing, and they typically don't develop an actual personality of this is what I like, this is what I don't like. For me, that's been something even in the healing process that's really hard sometimes to come up with, because I'm like, like, it is what it is, like, I like it, I don't like it, but there's not really like, wow, this is passion, it's exciting, like a Think of it this way. Have you ever played with like Legos or something like that? Like, you have kids that like take apart the Legos and then they put it back together, and sometimes it's better, sometimes it's different, but they're always like taking apart the Legos and then putting it back together. The thing with you is when you go through a narcissistic relationship, you get chipped down. A lot of times you get chipped down to the core of nothing, almost. Like, it feels like everything's gone and stripped away from you, but then you have the opportunity to be able to build that back. And a lot of people don't think of that. They don't think that it's possible to be able to build them back. Well, the thing is, the chip pieces, they're not going to go back the same way. Like, the person that you were before is not going to be the person that you are now, and the person that you're going to be is not going to be the person that you've been. You're going to be different. You're going to grow. You're going to change. You're going to become better than what you were before, because you're going to be more educated about this, to avoid things in the past, to avoid things in the future, to avoid all the shit that you've been through so that you can be stronger for it. And gray rocking is the idea of going as dull and as uninterested as a rock sitting there, or like a bump in the log. Think of it that way. But really what it is with gray rocking, you're not giving the responses, the reactions that the narcissist is looking for. So oftentimes they're looking to get you to react. They're looking to get you to have reactive abuse, all these different types of stuff. And you're just like, sure, okay, whatever. And you like move on. That's the idea of gray rocking. The thing with gray rocking, I normally try to tell people this, it only works like half the time. The other half of the time, it enrages the other person and makes it even worse. Now, if you're with the narcissist and you have kids or you're going through a legal battle, then don't do gray rocking. Several people have commented that that's not helpful in the court situation, because then the courts, as they come into it, they don't know the whole situation. They don't know the whole background and everything that's been going on. So gray rocking to them oftentimes looks like you're just being difficult. Instead, use the BIF method. Brief, informative, firm, and friendly. It helps out. And if you're new here, I'm a narcissist trying to help people to grow, change, and heal. I hope you don't track another narcissist too, but at the end of the day, it's not just up to God to save you from a narcissist. It's also up to you. Making sure that you set boundaries, making sure that you grow yourself, that you develop yourself so another person can't walk into your life and rip your life away from you. You got to be really careful sometimes when looking towards narcissists and looking towards the future of dating, of what kind of boundaries are you setting up on a day-to-day basis? Like, how are you able to tell the other person no and have them actually respect that? Because a lot of times narcissists aren't respecting that at all. Like, on a day-to-day basis, they don't. All the boundaries that you put out there are just a challenge. They're just something for them to kind of break through and kind of rip through. I hope to God that you don't get involved with another narcissist, but make sure you do the work on yourself too. If you guys don't know already, I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. Check out some of the videos that are longer on YouTube. Also, real quick, July 23rd in Durham, North Carolina, we got 4 of us that are coming together for a meet and greet. So I think we're a little confused on what no contact actually means, because when you go no contact and then they contact you, that's not no contact. You know, that's just a pause in the conversation. That's just a pause in the manipulation. That's just waiting for that person to come back in your life and start destroying it piece by piece. When we go no contact, that means we have to ghost, we have to block, we have to make sure that there's no access whatsoever for the other person to come back into your life. The problem is every time you leave that door open, the narcissist will come back through. And people are like, oh, my narcissist won't come back. Really? Well, I've already had people that have come back to me being like, you were right. I should have listened the first time, because they came back 2 months later, 6 months later. Sometimes people comment and saying like, wow, I had my narcissist come back 5 years, 7 years, 12 years later, they contacted me. It's not out of the blue. It's calculated almost every single time. When they want something, when they're in need of more supply. Narcissist is going to try to make you look crazy, and they're going to try to play the victim over everything that's happened after the relationship. And if you're new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. And the thing is, all throughout my life, I would always think that I was the victim. You know, it wasn't my fault. You know, I wasn't abusive. I wasn't mean to all these people. Everybody kept leaving me. And I couldn't really figure it out. You know, I was just like, must be something with me. You know, it must be something, you know, that they just don't like about me. It must be something that, you know, I can't do right. Like, all this kind of stuff was a victim mentality that I would put out there, being like, everybody leaves me. I'm always here for people. I'm always faithful to those people. All those different types of things kept going through my head, but it didn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, I wanted to play the victim. The narcissist is going to switch it around, and they're going to play the victim every single time, so that they'll post stuff that you should be posting, yeah. Because they want to look like the abused. They want to look like the hurt person, so that they don't have to be truthful about who. So is there anything you can do to help the narc? Is there anything you can do to make the narc get better? Is there anything you can do to help the narc realize what's actually happening? And the problem, and the short answer is no. The best thing you can do to be able to help the narc is to leave. I know that's not the easiest thing to do, and it's not the nicest thing for me to say, but in reality, when it comes down to it, you're not going to be able to get someone to change who doesn't want to change. You're not going to be able to make a horse drink when you lead them to water. Like, that's the whole problem with narcissists, is they don't think there's anything wrong. They don't see it with their ego, with their entitlement, with their manipulation, with their gaslighting, with their lies to other people, to themselves. Like, when it comes down to it, like, they don't want to get changed because they don't think anything's wrong. And if you're not able to show them or have them understand, hey, like, lying's wrong, or hey, like, you know, we agreed to be in a relationship together, so cheating's wrong. Like, there's all these different types of things that if you can't have them understand those simple, basic human things, you can't do anything to fix them. Not ever. Have you ever wondered, why was I not good enough? Have you ever wondered, why did they love someone else, not me? Have you ever wondered, can that narcissist change for a good man, good woman? Like, are they going to change for another person? Because so many times you think that, and you're worried about that. But instead of focusing on why they didn't choose you, instead of focusing on why they're not here, focus on you. Focus on your self-worth and understanding that person didn't define
who you are. That person didn't define your worth. So work on yourself to heal, to grow, to change. That's the only person you can change. It's just you. You can't change the narcissist. You can't change the other people in your lives, but you can work to heal, grow, and change yourself. There's a whole lot more videos and updates about that on YouTube. So check out my YouTube channel, Raw Motivations. We got longer videos, 2 of them that drop every single day, talking more about all of this type of stuff and to give you more clarity and more ideas as you heal, grow, and change.